last week, a client reached out. Senior leader, brilliant track record. A soul always acting on integrity. And she said, I now report to a leader who backstabs me, who calls me out and belittles me in front of other people. One of my values have been to always treat people with respect. And I only served leaders who wanted to collaborate with me, who wanted to help me grow, who wanted to help me succeed. And I now started to believe that I am nothing. And I said to her, it is not a her problem, like the leader problem. It is that you have an undisciplined mind and that you haven't yet flexed your emotional intelligent muscle. I left corporate as a trusted advisor 5 years ago. And in total, I've been in corporate more than 20 years. But this pattern I just shared with you is something that I hear every single week. And when I share that, everything shifts. In this video, I want to share with you the 5 keys I gave her. It's going to be powerful, this video. I hope it's going to be short. I have about half an hour. And then it's going to shift where you are right now. If you borrow what I share, and if you listen to this video with an open mind and an open heart, because that's only when you can shift, is when you have an open mind and an open heart. So stay with me till the end. This situation that I just described, I've been reporting to leaders as well who've been toxic, who wanted not the best for me, but rather wanted the best for themselves and called me out or ignored me. And she experienced exactly the same patterns. Key number 1 is about assumption. What you assume to be true will harden into fact. And I learned it the hard way. And there's plenty of videos on YouTube about manifestation. This is also manifestation. Manifestation is really what we believe to be true. And we oftentimes use our senses and past, what is right now, as what happened yesterday, as a data point for what will happen tomorrow. We actually believe that we will recreate the past will become the future. If that is what you believe about your past. We're not going into manifestation and all the techniques right now, but I do want to read a short 1 sentence from Neville's work, the Neville collection. Neville writes, through the mastery of your assumptions, you are in very truth enabled to master your life. So key number 1 is to control what you assume to be true. And I'm very active on LinkedIn. So if you're not connected on LinkedIn, maybe follow me on LinkedIn and say hi on LinkedIn. I learned it the hard way, that what we believe to be true will be true. And most of us are faithful to our fears and what other people think about us than to our own desires, our own dreams, and our own wisdom and inner intelligence, inner knowing. So key number 1 is to audit your assumptions. What do you assume to be true right now? And what you assume to be true, is that really what you want to manifest? Most often it's not. So start assuming something else. And requires you to really flip your brain. Every thought that you're telling yourself, if it is not in your favor, flip it. Don't tell yourself that I'm worth nothing. It's not true. Love yourself so much. Go down memory lane. What you have accomplished so far. And remind you of how amazing you are. So, rather than giving this toxic leader the power to believe that she can ruin your career, why assume that to be true? You are more than her or him. So assume something else. Assume that you know how to create your life. You know how to create your career. You created your career without this leader, without this boss. And you can create your life without this boss. I will go into other keys that I gave her as well that will help you get unstuck. But first, audit your assumptions, what you assume to be true, and then flip it. What do you want to assume to be true? Because that is really how we're going to manifest what we want. That is how we're going to master our life. And it's also about choosing our mood. We are responsible for our mood. So choose your mood. Choose to thrive, right? But how can we thrive when we haven't learned not to absorb other people's emotions? How can we thrive when we haven't learned to hold the space for other people who are toxic, who are in their own chaos, right? That is what this video is all about. That is the keys I want to give you today. A mini masterclass, because I don't want you to be in this space. If you are in this space, if you do report to a toxic leader, I want to give you some keys to get you unstuck. So assume what you believe to be true and flip it. Key number 2. Yes, they're very related, but there are different nuances to all this. Different practices, different level of consciousness. A thought is just a thought. And it's not a fact unless you breathe or you birth it into existence. And you don't have to follow a thought down the corridor, which means you don't have to believe that thought to be true. A thought is just a thought until it becomes a belief. And you only have to think that thought 10 times, then it becomes a belief. So choose your thoughts. And Joseph Nigel has written this amazing book. It's very easy to understand or read. And he talks about, as well as what I teach my clients, there is this thought, and there's a flow state of non-thinking, and there's a thinking. And we create stress when we think. And that is undisciplined mind. You think and you think and you think and you think about what you think, and it drives you crazy. Stop thinking what you think. Stop thinking what you think. Go back to a neutral state, because that is where you get out of stress. And it's only when you stop thinking you can start tapping into your knowing, your inner wisdom, your intelligent mind, your intuition. Your intuition will not show up when you think, when we are in the doer mode. So stop thinking. Stop think what you think. You can feel that everyone else thinks, right? What are you thinking, right? Now I ask you, what are you thinking? And I want you even more to stop think or think less and start being more in flow state. And you will say, ask me, yeah, Camilla, but how do I do that? Because my mind is so is running on thinking. It's not running on empty, but I can't stop my mind from thinking. But you can. When you think and you think all these whirlwind thoughts, you just have to say, I choose not to think. I choose not to think. And you discipline your mind not to think, because oftentimes those thoughts are not setting you up for more success. And every thought comes with a feeling, with a vibration, and it doesn't serve you. And that vibration is contagious and is felt by other people. And when people are toxic, they can feel it. It's like a wolf, and they just do more of what is not serving you, more of the bad behavior. So stop thinking. Go back into flow state, not start. Key number 3. Their chaos is not your verdict. My client believed that this toxic leader had the power to ruin her life. And she was so devastating. And I was so proud of her reaching out before time, before scheduled time. I had weekly conversations like this. So if you are in the same boat, you are not alone. But what I want you to understand is that when other people are toxic, they suffer from maybe lack of love when they were growing up. They have a very strong ego to prove that they are right, because maybe that was how they were brought up when they were a kid, that they have to always be number one, otherwise they're not liked. So they have created a life where they have to be the best, but that is not the best leader. It's in the doing, and they see, and I've reported to a few who were like that. But their chaotic inner world and what they struggle with is not their verdict. It tells you, and it's only data points, it tells you all about them and not about you. But until you have flexed your emotional intelligent resilience muscle, until you have become so relaxed within, you cannot see what is going on because you absorb other people's emotions. You have so much respect for hierarchy and believe that they can ruin your career. They can fire you. Maybe they can fire you, but maybe that is the best that can happen, because then you get released from this contract that's will never set you up for success. But remember, their chaos is their chaos. And there's so many things that's going on in my mind right now. Use it as data points. And when you have inner peace, when you protect your house, and I did a video not long ago about the 4 walls of a house. Your house has 4 walls. When you continue to show up with integrity, when you learn to flex your inner muscle, when you learn to elevate your emotional intelligence. A lot of people say, I'm emotional intelligent, but when the storm comes, are you then also calm? Most people are not, because you haven't received that emotional intelligence training. You're tuning into a mastermind now, so I'm glad that you're here. But the more you control yourself, the more you control your nervous system, the more you know when you are triggered, and the more you work through that trigger and say, I'm not available for that trigger anymore. I know I'm good enough. Maybe that woman reminds you of someone, and then you get triggered. Maybe it's your dad. And you respect, right? And you get nervous. But the moment you understand your triggers, you work through your triggers, then you start to relax. And you can wonder and say, I wonder, why do you need to call me out in front of other people? How powerful would it be to call to in one-on-one conversation, because you get to act on integrity, say to your dear boss, hey boss, when you did that, I just wonder, why did you do it? I just wonder, why did you have to backstab me? I saw that email. Why? That's when you step into your higher level of integrity. That's when you step into your higher level of self. That's when you step into a higher level of trusted advisor. Then suddenly you start to act from higher level integrity. And you call her out with love. That is so powerful. You can do that when you train your emotional intelligence muscle, when you have trained your nervous system to calm down. This is just another soul in her mess, but it's not my mess, right? So remember that. Key 3 is all about them. It's nothing to do with you, and it's a data point. Now, key number 4, and it's something that everything I teach is my lived experience, as well as what I see of breakthroughs in my clients and my studying neuroscience and emotional intelligence and spirituality. But this key number 4 is something I vividly remember when I was stuck, and that we oftentimes forget how powerful we are. My client in that moment forgot what she had created. She had been a corporate advisor. She's been a corporate amazing leader. She has created her own company. But in that moment, she forgot everything. I don't want you to forget everything. I also forgot my whole track record from BP, Shell, IBM, when I served someone who was so mean and so uncomfortable. But we get to train our brain that actually I have a lived life. So remember who you are. Remember that you're good enough. Remember that this is just a season, and I know it's not easy. I've been there. It's just a season, and there's a reason why you encounter that person. That's key number 5. But remember how powerful you are. Remember your greatness. Remember that what they say is not true unless you make it true. So don't convince yourself that what they say is true if it doesn't serve you. And what this video is all about, helping you, not helping you choose yourself and not listen to bosses who are toxic. So remember who you are. And that gets me to key number 5. And it's something that I remember when I was decoupling, and about 10 years ago. And I was told, see him as a double blessing in your life. And it was so difficult for me to send love, to find the double blessing when I was hitting rock bottom in my life. But it is because, and I said that to the client, I said to all clients, and it's difficult in the moment to embrace, but whoever is in your life is in your life for a reason. If you believe that food, you will propel. I'm tapping into Kabbalah, I'm tapping into spirituality, I'm tapping into the work by Wayne, I can't remember, Wayne Dyer and Neville Goddard. Those people you meet, when they cause friction in you, that difficult leader, that difficult person reveals where you haven't healed, reveals where you still have to grow. So what I shared and encouraged my client was to love up this amazing leader. Thank her in your mind for being in your life, because she helps you elevate. And the same goes for you. The same goes with me, all of us. When we understand what consciousness is all about, when we understand that we only get triggered when there's something in us that has to heal, that we haven't really let go of, where we're still running on like a little girl, where we're still running on being seen, the ego mind, and not really just allowing ourselves to be us. So get to find the double blessing. So that is a hidden curriculum. That is a hidden curriculum that this amazing person brings into your life. Just by being in your life, she reveals something in you that you can choose to heal. So what if you are reporting to a toxic leader right now and you're being triggered, you feel that, oh, I'm not sane, all this pity partying? What is it in you that you get to unlock? My client said, right, all right, I want to get to my next level. And how can I be on my next level if I haven't grown my consciousness? How can I thrive as my next level me if I don't know how to navigate a person who feels her own mess, who has a chaotic inner world? How would I ever be a successful leader? What an amazing breakthrough. So sit with this, listen to the video again, and be curious about why am I triggered? What does this trigger get me to unlock? What is emerging right now? That is really the growth whenever we are triggered. Can be at work, at home. So, if you want to go deeper on any of these 5 keys, you can work with me, join either my upcoming workshop. You can join us in our group coaching program. We're kicking off every quarter. Next, whenever you see it, if you see it when we go live right now in April, the next cohort starts in May. And you can join us in Chiang Mai, Thailand. I'm dropping the links for the different opportunities. And if you want to work with me one-on-one, some clients prefer to work with me one-on-one, then book a discovery call, strategy call, and we explore how we could do that together. Links are in the description below. And if you found value in this video, go subscribe to my channel, like this video so more people find this video, and also drop a comment what showed up for you as you were listening, tuning into this video. Also, what other videos could I create for you? I'd love to hear from you. You already know who you are. You just let someone else's behavior answer that question. It's time to stop. It's time to reclaim your power. It's time to remember who you are. That is the work. Thanks for tuning in. I know you can. Now go.